All right, so you're trying to dominate digital marketing in 2026, but you've got zero budget for ads. This is for you. We are about to break down the exact system to get massive reach, more subscribers, and actual paying clients, all for free.
Okay, let's get real for a second. It's the beginning of the year, your goals are absolutely huge, but your resources are, well, they're not there. You have an amazing service, a brilliant product, but that marketing budget line says zero. So what do? What's the plan?
The answer is right here. You master this. Instagram Reels, I'm telling you right now, it is the single most powerful, free, organic marketing tool on the planet. It's your chance to get in front of millions of people who have never even heard of you, and it's an opportunity you just can't afford to miss.
Now let's talk about this number. That's well over $100,000. That's how much money I would have had to burn on paid ads to get the 40,000 followers I gained in just 1 month, all from Reels. See, this isn't just some social media trick. It's a massive economic advantage.
But, I didn't just wake up and know this stuff. I had to learn it the hard way after making a huge and pretty expensive mistake. But honestly, that failure was the best education I ever could ask for, because it taught me what really works. So let me tell you about my big, expensive mistake. I went all in. I hired a professional crew, rented this beautiful studio. We shot 30 perfectly scripted and edited reels. The plan was to post one every single day for a whole month.
I was expecting the world, Viral growth, new clients banging down the door. And the reality? It was just crushing. All that time, all that money, and what did it get me? A measly 500 followers and absolutely zero impact on my business. Nothing.
So what went wrong? Well, when I looked back, the mistakes were so obvious. First, the content was just boring. It was literally just me, a talking head, in a sterile studio. Second, it was way too niche. The topics were only interesting to a handful of other pros. And maybe the biggest mistake of all, it was completely unnatural. It just lacked any real personality.
And that led me to a really tough conclusion, one you have to accept too. If your beautifully produced, super professional reels aren't getting any views, it doesn't matter how much effort you put in. You're just making bad reels, period. But here's the thing. After that total disaster, I scrapped everything. I threw out the old playbook, came up with a totally new system, and decided to try again. The result? 40,000 new followers in the very next month. That was the turning point. And the system I used is exactly what I'm going to share with you right now.
So you're probably asking, okay, so how did you do it? It all comes down to what I call the viral content system, and it's built on this simple 60-30-10 content mix. Think of it like a balanced diet for your content. You need the right mix to fuel your growth and your business. And here it is, the magic ratio. The biggest chunk, 60%, should be expert content. That's where you're teaching and giving away value for free. Then, 30% is personal content, where you let people see the real human behind the brand. And only a tiny little 10% is for actually selling stuff. If you get this balance right, I promise everything else just falls into place. Let's just quickly break down why this mix is so powerful. Your expert content is what makes people hit that subscribe button. They see you as a valuable resource. The personal content, that's what makes them stick around. They build a real connection with you. And that little slice of selling content becomes crazy effective because you've already earned their trust and attention.
Okay, so you've got the ratio down. But the next big question I always get is, what on earth do I actually post about? Well, that's where the idea engine comes in. I'm about to show you 6 bulletproof ways to make sure you never, ever run out of great ideas again.
This list right here, this is your creative toolkit, your treasure chest of content. You can pull from a theme cloud of your main topics. You can map out the customer journey. You can solve their pains and obstacles, repurpose stuff that worked before, steal like an artist, or just create simple listicles. This is your system for infinite ideas.
Now let's zoom in on my absolute favorite method here, steal like an artist. And let's be super clear, this is not about copying someone. It's about finding a reel that did well, figuring out the core concept that made it work, and then adapting it with your own unique spin, your personality, your expertise.
And here's a perfect example of how this works in real life. A friend of mine made a reel called 5 Realizations of a New Father, and it went viral. So I didn't copy his 5 points. I just took the core idea, sharing honest insights about being a new dad, and I gave it my own little twist. His got 70,000 shares. Mine got 20,000.
It just proves that the theme itself was a winner. Another absolute game changer is mapping out the customer journey. Just think about every single step someone takes with you, from being a total newbie who's just curious, all the way to becoming an expert client. If you create content that answers their specific questions at each one of those stages, you stop being just helpful, you become essential.
All right, we've got the strategy, we've got the ideas, now for the fun part, actually making the thing. This is your practical, step-by-step blueprint for taking a concept and turning it into a reel that actually has a real shot at going viral.
Look, every single viral reel, and I mean every one, follows this basic 5-step structure. You need a powerful hook in the first 1 to 3 seconds to stop the scroll, a little build-up to frame what's coming, then the core value, that's the main point, a clear conclusion to wrap it up, and finally a very specific call to action telling them what to do next.
And beyond that script structure, there are 4 key ingredients you have to sprinkle in if you want a shot at going viral. First, be visual. Show people, don't just tell them. Second, go broad. Ask yourself, is this interesting to millions or just to 10 people? Third, be bold. Use humor, be a little weird, don't be afraid to stand out. And finally, always be valuable. You have to reward the viewer for giving you their time.
And if you remember only one thing from this whole thing, let it be this. Presentation is everything. A simple, maybe even obvious idea that's presented in a cool, dynamic, engaging way will always beat a brilliant idea that's presented in a boring way. Remember my fancy studio failure? That's all the proof you need.
So let's just zoom out for a second. We're in 2026. Reels aren't just these cute little videos anymore. For you, the marketer with the $0 budget, they are the most powerful engine you have for building an audience, getting leads, and actually growing your business.
Look, you have the entire playbook right here. You've got the system, the tools to generate ideas, and the blueprint to make it happen. The potential is absolutely limitless. Your very next reel could be the one that connects with millions of people. So the only question left is, what story are you going to tell?